So I want to start off by asking about how you even got into SGA, because I personally like that story and I like to hear it over and over. So if you feel comfy,
Yeah.
you know.
And I feel like this is the perfect spot to say it, honestly. So I failed my first semester of being at Flagler, which is not uncommon, but it's something that a lot of people don't expect from the student government president. So I feel lucky that I was able to make it out of that. I had meetings with Dr. Vigilati, who has become a really great mentor for a lot of people. And we had these weekly meetings where we would just go in and talk and make sure that I was staying on track. And I was just talking about it with my professor I was in class with, actually, because she had me my second semester of freshman year, and the student that I was then versus the student I am now is completely different. But with that, going into my junior year, I was an orientation leader. I decided that I wanted to lead tours about the school and share a little bit of my journey with incoming freshmen. And I loved that experience because telling a bunch of families that you failed but have bounced back because of the community that's around here, the people that really, really care about you, the just overall family-like feeling that Flagler has, I think became really apparent to a lot of people, and it's hard to send your kid to school,
right?
Obviously.
Yes, it feels like a little neighborhood here, genuinely. Like you eventually get to be like, hey, so-and-so, hey, so, like you know people by their first name. That doesn't happen at every institution.
No.
So that's just, telling parents that is like that. If that's what their student wants, then it's like, yes, like I need to hear what the actual culture is, and it is like a little neighborhood.
The whole experience is so important. And then one of my friends on that team was on student government, and they needed a fresh student vice president of student activities, which I think we'll get into a little bit later. But they needed someone to fill the role of what the campus activities board was doing prior, and I applied for the position and got it. So I was making the big events around campus, like de-stress day, midnight breakfast, things like that. And I think a lot of people saw me working really hard, and I had been sharing my story for so long that people cared, and they wanted me to keep succeeding. So I went for president and got it, and I've loved just helping people through their experience sense, also advocating for the students in all different walks. I felt like I was in their position in many different ways throughout my time here. So I see them and I hear them and I care a lot.
So good.
I love it.
That's so presidential. The support, the advocacy, the icon, the legend.
And now it's funny because I see Dr. Beal around.
Right.
Even,
What a gem.
What a guy. So funny. But I got on the elevator today to go to class, and he was like, look at you, service leadership right there all the time. Like,
I love that. That's the hype you need in the elevator.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? You don't want to stand there awkwardly.
Completely.
Like, hype me up. Tell me I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
I've got these shoes on. I'm trying.
Right.
I try to do the thing as much as I can.
Right. You're like success platform loafers.
Yes, right. I did buy these when I got the position.
Right.
Just to feel a little bit more in charge and to get that sense of respect.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So from VP, like genuinely want to ask, so how do you feel like you've like grown from VP to president? Because I've been meaning to ask you that. I just thought about it now. But.
I think that's a great question. During my time in student government, I find it really interesting because I'm the only one on the executive board who hasn't been a senator. And I was
Yeah.
thinking about that even when we were discussing absence policy and whatnot the other day within Senate. But I think that with that role, I was able to get great connections with all of the administration, I think, around campus. And because they had seen me in that role where I was highly managing groups of 30 students and then throwing 500 plus person events, they saw the person I was and they also wanted to see me grow. It was a really insane week. Election week, seeing all the support, honestly, from people that I had been talking to for so long about what I wanted to do around here. And they all believed in the community that I thankfully, naturally spread a little bit. Just, I love talking in my classes and doing all the things. So with that, it's all just kind of grown. Yeah. The sense of responsibility has, yes, and more people see you around campus. I asked them all to vote for me. But they also know that I'm a good person to be advocating for them. They know I care, and they respect that. They love it.
Yeah. And that's as so far as your advisor, to all of you, but mainly to you, I've tried to do the challenge and support situation where I'm I want to challenge you to take on more responsibility, but I don't want it to be so much that you guys crack under the pressure, which I don't think you guys have in any way. But even when I'm hey, can you help Lauren with this event? Can you help? And you've been super helpful for her. You're a great resource.
Thank you.
On our team. But I just seeing that leadership in you, just even over the course of a month, I'm not saying the age old, I've been here since the beginning, but even what I've seen so far, I'm okay, Icon, okay, she's doing it. You take on responsibility naturally, and you don't let it overwhelm you, even though it is overwhelming naturally. You're still a student, you still have classes, you still have a personal life, you still have, things outside of SGA, but you really you all of you put your all into it so far, and that's been crazy impressive.
Thank you.
For me.
Thank you.
As an advisor.
I think it's a lot about finding balance in the involvement that you have and loving what you're doing. I've found out I love student government. I never did this stuff in high school, but I completely immersed myself in it in college, and just the leadership community overall, I think that we start off as and spread together is so important for everyone to be seeing all the time. And I've loved being at all the different events this year. What's the SLE office called?
Student Leadership and Engagement.
Sorry, I was what is it?
It's okay. Grant calls us SLE, SLE with an accent over the E.
That's funny.
So that's what I say in my mind, but it's Student Leadership and Engagement.
Student leadership and engagement overall, I think I found out that when I grow up, I want to work in that office. I love what they've done for me as a student, and I want to be able to mentor students in that way myself because of all the things I've been doing.
Yeah. What do you feel like your mentor / leadership style is? In a few words. Let's do 3. Let's do 3 words.
Oh. Ooh. Well, I know my Clifton's top strengths.
Okay. Yeah, you could throw those out there if you want. The Clifton strengths. We've all had to take it. Yeah. It's a party.
Right. I love individualism, though, and seeing that in other people. I also love astrology signs. I'm a Libra rising, so that's what I come off as to people. And I do think that I show individualism very well in myself, and I love when other people are doing it. So the student government, everyone's kind of in this club right when they get to school. It's a lot of freshmen, and that's not a bad thing at all. I think that those people are very willing to learn what they like and willing to learn what they talk about and see. So having the different communities for them to like join. Oh, because so student government is made up of 26 senators and 6 executive board members. And the senators are divided into 4 committees. So volunteer service, student activities, public relations, and budget review that each of the vice presidents look over. And within that, I think you kind of see what you like and get to do a bunch of different things, but you're learning, you're learning so much about yourself. So individualism. And then I'm pretty strategic, but I noticed recently that I don't ask very many questions. And it's not that I don't want to know, but I think of things very like analytically and think I understand them from that standpoint. So I don't always ask the most questions.
Well, I think that's good for your role in a sense. You like to know things like at face value, you know? So as the president, you know, you have to like, when people come to you giving their perspective, you kind of have to have like that clean slate of like, yes, I'm listening, I hear you, but also this is how I understood it, but you just like can build up from that. That's what I think anyways. That's what I've seen in you so far, you know?
Thank you. I was just talking about it with my friends, and I don't think it's bad that I don't ask a bunch of questions either. I like yes, no kind of ideas and finding solutions. So I've loved doing that in this role. I have monthly meetings with President Delaney where we catch up a lot on the student concerns and kind of different things SGA is working on around campus, as well as it's been so nice having those meetings. And he just loves getting to know the students. Yeah. That's what I think a lot of my meetings are. If they were able to talk to students the way that they talk to me, it would come across so much more clear to everyone that, you know, everyone's trying, doing their best. We're all working on these things. And, like, the more there is for me to do, it's great. And having these meetings, being able to advocate for everyone is really important.
Yeah. Okay, what's your third?
And
what's the grand finale?
My third leadership style. I don't know. What are more examples of leader? I'm thinking.
Oh, geez. I asked the question, and now I don't know that answer fully. I mean, it's kind of like however you want it to be. I think you're very, like, personable. Yeah. I think that's a great leadership quality that you have. Like, at GA, when you play your Spotify, like, coffee shop playlist at the beginning, and you establish that, like, hey, this is, like, she's formal. She's a formal meeting, but, like, not in the way that you have to be, like, sitting up straight, you know, anxiety central. It can be more, like, less you're here to discuss, you know, we can discuss issues on the same level playing field, and we can try to fix it as, like, a leadership team if you bring it to us in this environment. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one that I think. You don't have to use that one. No. That's one that I think.
I agree, actually. And I spent a lot of time last year in my role on exec as vice president because I kind of knew SGA is this place, and people do sometimes expect it to be super formal, very serious, that Tuesday meeting, but it doesn't have to be so scary for students. I mean, these are people we have in our classes who are passionate about their club coming to present so that they can have a fun event for the rest of campus to experience. Yeah. So, like, having them nervous doesn't do them any good. Having me nervous up there doesn't help anyone. But last year I would do, and you were our advisor, but I would there were a couple of times, like, on Pink, or it was like Tuesday, that date from Mean Girls that like they wear a pink on.
Yes.
It wasn't Wednesday, but like the date in Mean Girls.
Like October, like 13th maybe, or like 12th. I don't know.
It's
October
something like
13th.
that.
He asked me what day it was. It's October 13th. Like that.
Yes, you know exactly. And I was,
that's it.
I like did the Mean Girls thing with the shirt where you like cut off a part of your shirt just to like make it funny during General Assembly.
Caitlin. You did not.
I will say I did completely take advantage of the one General Assembly. Our advisor wasn't there.
Okay. That's,
She wasn't there.
Caitlin.
And so I did that, and I wore like the muscle shirt to Senate one night because I had cleaned out the SGA office. So I found it, and I thought it was hilarious. So I wore it, and I just think there were moments like that last year where people could see my personality shine through a little bit. Also, I'll be the person to like make fun of me so that you have something to talk about. Like make camaraderie in the room, even if it's about me, because you aren't going to hurt me.
Right.
I don't know. I'm already in this position. I am okay with myself.
Sometimes that's what a leader is.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But not all the time.
No. And I think it's really good that I was able to share that part of myself last year as vice president, because people know I'm that person still, but I'm not always doing that now. So
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah. That's fair. And I think when RSOs come to us for like grants and stuff like that, when they get to do their presentation and show a little bit of their personality, I think that shows everyone else at General Assembly meetings, like in the audience, that, you know, these are real, like their peers are coming to us for help, and it doesn't have to be that like formal, you know, nervous kind. It is a presentation, but it's in front of your peers, and I am there. Like I'm the only kind of like pro staff there that would make anyone nervous. Not that I don't think I make anyone nervous, but you know, when it comes to that shows their personality. And I think how comfortable they are presenting kind of shows how comfortable they are to be around you all, but they still take it very seriously. And obviously they want, you know, their grants to be like approved so that they can get materials for their events or, you know, supplies for their events, things like that. But you know, I just see how comfortable they are up there, and I think that's really fun, and they show their little personalities.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it. And I love that we get to do, so at our General Assembly meetings every month, or not every month, but every week, everyone will get up and announce what they've been working on in student government. So all of the vice presidents will go and talk about their committees and talk about the events that they've been putting on. This semester, we've had the Stress Day, Midnight Breakfast, Fall Fest, a lot of volunteer events, Pie in the Sky, and the lighthouse decorating are just a couple I'm thinking of.
I saw some of the pictures from the lighthouse decorating, and it was so good. It was so wholesome.
When I'm telling you, that was one of the most fun events that I've been to, and I just loved, because the St. Augustine community is so big, and there's so many different aspects of it. There's a lot of nonprofits to work for or help with, and then there's a lot of history around here, but I think specifically volunteer services is really great for kind of getting into each of those niche little circles of St. Augustine and seeing that, like the lighthouse, we all got tickets for it, and it was a great time afterwards.
No, I loved it. I loved it. I think that's like, and also I love, like when I say Flagler's little neighborhood, I'm quite literally including the little neighborhood that is around. So obviously the community, but they want to work with you guys so bad. And that's why I wish, you know, like more students would be able to like volunteer for those kinds of events, because like the community wants to see Flagler students so bad. They want to work with you guys so bad. in a good way, like in a way that they're like, we're just excited to like work with you guys, because Flagler is just like very close to downtown, very close to this tourist hub, and they're like, oh, look at that beautiful like castle, like who goes there? And it's you guys. And they're like, let's work with the people that live in the castle. Let's work with them.
I've lived in every residence hall other than Cedar.
Have you? Did you actually?
Yeah.
What, like Lewis
Wasn't
too?
that fun? Yeah.
Okay, so let's Lewis.
It was Ponce first, and then FEC, then Lewis while I was an orientation leader.
Okay.
FEC/A-Bear.
Okay.
And then I've been in Sebastian for 2 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. You've gotten the literal grand tour. That's how you know like where everything is.
Yeah, honestly.
So when I ask you where things are, you always know.
I do.
Yeah.
And I've loved that part of you also being our advisor. You came from the student center, and that was, I think, just kind of the perfect segue for student government and the things that we do. But a few of the events, I want to talk a little bit more about some of our events that we hold. De-Stress Day is an annual event that we have, and it just kind of showcases the end of the semester finals. It's a week before finals. Everyone's super, stressed and has a bunch on their plate, but they walk outside from 11 to 2, and in that huge...
And what do they see?
And that huge West Lawn area is completely filled with animals between mini cows.
Things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mini cows. There's lizards or sheep. There's a bunch of different animals. Bunnies.
I love those.
Then the therapy dogs are sometimes there. We've got the massage therapists, bouncy houses, crafts, food trucks, like everyone kind of comes together for this event. And I think the merging of CAB last year with student government was a really big change for us. I was actually the first vice president of student activities, so I think this is a perfect thing to talk about. But and since I was never on Senate, that it was kind of interesting because it was originally CAB who did all of these things, the Campus Activities Board, and then someone who had never been part of either of those things was thrown into creating all these events.
Right.
And it was pretty stressful, but the overall groundwork was already semi-laid out. De-Stress Day was something that's been happening for years. And Midnight Breakfast is also a really beautiful event that we do. But it just gets everyone kind of together, creates that involvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loves it. And of course, Harry Potter Week isn't fully SGA's whole week or all the events, but even the hand that we had in that this year, it felt very significant and it felt very important. Like students were coming up and like sharing their thoughts about Harry Potter Week, and they're all positive, and I was like, okay, stunning.
Know. People have been saying that they have all 4 bears from that we hand out. We hand out bears at the movie night on Harry Potter Week, and they collect one from every house.
I love that.
And all these bears are gone within literally 20 minutes. Yeah, I would say there's a line of people waiting to get these bears, and they love that it's Harry Potter seems Flagler themed. It's not that Flagler is Harry Potter. It's
right.
Feels the other way around.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, Logan.
Thanks for talking with me.